Hi, I'm Chipi Buenafe, the chair of the Department of Information Science and Technology. And for today, I'll talk about social innovation and the role of information technology. We probably have seen all this. We've seen companies engaged in numerous outreach activities, all in the name of corporate social responsibility. And one of the more glaring features of these events is that they can be quite expensive. You see donations, you see volunteers offer their time and energy for a few hours, and you will repeat the process the next year and the year after. So, what happens next? This is where most people tend to criticize these organizations, setting aside the genuineness of their intentions. And what makes this difficult to appreciate is the fact that these activities, these initiatives, well, they can be very ad hoc and therefore quite unsustainable. And this is where the notion of social innovation comes into the picture. Now, Neil Malhotra of the Stanford Graduate School of Business once said that social innovation would require three things. First, an organization would need to have a theory of change. Change, simply put, is a process, a pattern where one organization, one community would move from one state to another. And it requires a certain level of discipline because change is not something that's ad hoc or something that is just thought of at random. Change has to be deliberate. And if we want to make things more sustainable, then we need to have that theory of change. The second idea in social innovation is that you need to have measurable impact. Impact has to be measured. And that said, we move our lens from the contribution of the volunteers regarding their talent, their time, their resources, and shift it to the outcomes, to the impact. Are these activities actually helping the communities, the organizations involved? Okay. If not, then it becomes a little bit suspect. It becomes a little bit weird, perhaps, as to why people would want to be involved in such outreach activities. Okay, and therefore, it's important that we know how to measure the impact of everything that we want to do as far as outreach activities are concerned. And lastly, the third part that we'd want to talk about or consider with respect to social innovation is that there has to be design thinking involved. Simply put, the effort required to do all of these activities has to be based with what the stakeholders, the community really need, and not because it's the volunteers who really want to do it. It's not the initiative of the organization, it's not what the organization wants, but rather it has to match the needs of a current constituent or the needs of a certain constituency. And with that, when we consider these three things, the theory of change, the impact measurement, and design thinking, only then can we have a certain level of outreach that is quite sustainable. And this all underpins the idea of social innovation. Now, in information technology, we can actually do and create opportunities that would hit all of these three elements. You see, whenever we think about a community, for example, a school handled by the Department of Education, technology can actually help improve certain things, which would line up with whatever theory of change has been thought of. At the same time, with information technology, you can actually measure the things that you'd want measured in that particular community. Going back to the case of the school, we can actually take note of grades of the students, or perhaps the turnaround time of certain processes within the school, or perhaps the ability to respond to certain emergencies and the likes. Okay? Technology can help us measure these things. And lastly, technology can aid volunteers, organizations to help out these communities by ensuring that they actually capture the needs of a particular organization or the needs of a particular community. Information technology can actually help identify which things are quite useful and which things aren't. Okay? And all in all, you don't really need to spend a lot. You don't really need to engage in fundraising or come up with big donations. All it takes at the heart of it is having that problem solving mindset. Whenever we are involved in community outreach, whenever we're involved in any of these corporate social responsibilities, let us not forget that what's important really is that idea that they have a need, we can solve that, and we can solve that through information technology.